What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with another Seattle Mariners video. Before I get started, do me a couple favors. Hit the like button on the stream. That just helps get it out to more people. The video. That just helps YouTube shoot it out to more people. Lets YouTube know that you're enjoying it, so others might enjoy it as well. You guys can go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me as well. I'd appreciate it. I'm just 12 subs away from 2,100 subscribers. Also, head over to my channel page and check out how to become a member on the channel. There's some pretty cool stuff, including our first members-only live stream, which will be happening this coming Monday for the game against the Oakland Athletics. And there's a pretty cool prize giveaway, I think at least, for that video. So go ahead and check that out. So one of the hot topics, medium topics along the Mariners community right now has been Andres Munoz. And he's blown a few saves in the last few weeks. We had the one yesterday. There was one in Kansas City, which luckily the Mariners still won. One in Minnesota, a couple hiccups in Baltimore. And yeah, it's just been kind of a topic of discussion on should he keep pitching in the ninth inning, what have you, all that. I would say medium topic. I don't think any Mariners fan thinks Andres Munoz stinks. I think everybody knows he's still pretty good. It's just a level of where do you still use him? What do you do? I'll be very clear. I don't really care who pitches the ninth inning. I think you use your best relievers in the highest leverage situations. So if that's the ninth inning, then fine. If that's the seventh inning, then fine. I'm not really too concerned with who exactly gets the ninth inning necessarily. I just want to see the best pitchers pitch in the most important situations in a game. So we're going to look at three things here. We're going to take a look at Munoz's Baseball Savant page, which you already see up here. We are going to look at his Fangraphs page, and then we're just going to talk about Munoz a little bit in general. I think Munoz has been just fine this season. I really do. The numbers might not be quite as good as 2022, and we'll look at that. But overall, he has still been a fantastic reliever this season. These games that have happened are frustrating. They are. They're absolutely frustrating. The Mariners have lost these games. It would have been great to win them, no doubt. And it stinks that Munoz blew some of those. But there's no evidence, in my opinion, going forward that Andres Munoz is not going to be a fantastic reliever the rest of the year. So let's get into it here. Unfortunately, as you guys see here on Baseball Savant page, he doesn't have enough innings this year to have the full percentile rankings ranked. If we go back to 2022, you can see how ridiculously good Andres Munoz was. Easily, you could probably make a case the best relief pitcher in baseball. We don't have enough numbers this year. The fastball velocity has been a little bit down. Last year it averaged about 100 miles per hour. This year it's down to 98. The spin is down a little bit, which I'm actually surprised at. But again, we're dealing with less innings. Extension, I'm not worried about at all. All extension is how far off the mound a pitcher releases a pitch. If you're a pitching coach, you can let me know how important that is. It probably is nice to have good extension, but it's the same as last year when he was really good, so not worried about it at all. Let's scroll down a little bit here. This is where we're going to get most of our information from. We're going to look at his slider, his fastball, and his sinker. He's thrown his slider the most. It was his best pitch last year by far. Fastball, second most. Sinker, he's thrown the third most. The sinker's been a great pitch, actually, this year. His slider last year gave up an expected WOBA, weighted on base average. This is 2022 of 162. The league average for a hitter is about 320 for weighted on base average. So an expected of 162 is insanely good. And it was 160 overall. The fastball actually got hit kind of hard. Expected WOBA was 324, which doesn't make it a terrible pitch by any means, especially if you're just trying to throw it to get strike one, strike two. But the actual WOBA on it was 382, and the slugging against it was 493. Expected slugging was 401. The major league average for slugging percentage is about 414, just to give you a heads up on that. This year, the expected WOBA on the slider is a little higher, 235, which makes sense. It's looked a little flatter, especially recently, especially yesterday. But the overall WOBA against the 270, it's still below league average. Fastball WOBA against has been 280. The expected is 333, so he's maybe been a little lucky on the fastball. The sinker has been really good. The WOBA against the 26 expected is 205. Expected slugging percentage against these pitches this year, slugging's 286, four-seamers 307, sinkers 212, all well below what league average hitters do. Batting average against are very low. Miles per hour on the sinker is about the same as last year, 88.2 versus 88.6. Fastball is a little bit down. It's 98.9, so we can round that up to 99. Fastball last year was 100.2. We can round that to 100. Now, I will say this. The fastball has actually been more effective this year. It could be that he's taken a little, it could just be a random number, first and foremost. It could be that he's taking a little bit off of it because he was struggling to throw some strikes when he first came back. At least I thought so from the injured list. So he's maybe taken a little bit off of it to throw more strikes on that. Or like I said, it could just be kind of, it could also be radar guns not reading That's close enough where it's nothing I'd be too concerned about. I will say the slider, he hasn't thrown it a lot recently. In fact, I don't think I've seen it much since Kansas City. He threw it twice yesterday. It was hit for the leadoff double, and then Benintendi hit it for a single also. His fastball was humming yesterday. I truthfully just probably would have stuck with the fastball, but I get it. You're coming into a one-run game. You can't just throw one pitch the whole way. I mean, he probably could have and gotten away with it, but I get that mentality. And you can say, well, Luis Castillo did it on Monday. Luis Castillo had an 8-1 lead. If Munoz was up 4, he probably doesn't try to go to the slider there. He tried in an 0-2 pitch and with 2 strikes to get a couple hitters out with it. It didn't happen. It's still been his best pitch this year. I mean, overall, it has still been his best pitch. Whiff rates are still really high on it. 48.3 on the slider this year versus 50 last year. Fastball's actually gotten a little bit more swing and miss. And I want to point out, too, on the sinker that he only threw twice last year and has thrown 90 times this year, has a launch angle against of negative 33, meaning that pitch is just being pounded into the ground by a hitter. So that sinker's been amazing. The launch angle in the other ones isn't anything special either for hitters. So all this right here is great numbers. Andres Munoz, if you're looking at that, has been absolutely fantastic. Let's go over to Fangraphs here real quick. Can I switch screens here? Am I allowed to do that? I might not be able to. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to be able to change screens here. See, we got it. So there we go. All right, we got Andres Munoz Fangraphs page up here. So let's take a look at it. We looked at some of the pitches. We looked at his main pitches on Baseball Savant. Now let's go ahead and take a look at his Fangraphs page. So quickly right off the bat, we can see wins above replacement level. He's been absolutely fine. 1.2 versus 1.9 last year. So he's added a ton of value to this team out of the bullpen. His xFIP is 2.83. His FIP is 2.32. Both exceptional. Expected ERA 2.71. ERA 2.78. I don't put a ton of stock into ERA for relievers. It can just be misleading because they can give up inherited runners, and ERA in general does have a lot of flaws. But all those numbers are outstanding. The expected ERA is certainly well above what last year's was, but last year was also ridiculous. You can't expect that he was going to be the exact same pitcher this year. The bottom line is these are all really good numbers here. 2.32 FIP, outstanding. 2.83 xFIP, outstanding. Higher than last year, as we expected. The strikeouts have been a little bit down. The walks have been a little bit up this season, so it's not crazy, but it's not like this guy's running a 5 FIP out there or a 5.2 xFIP or something like that. Ks per 9, like I said, a little bit down, 12.36 versus 13.29. The walks have been about close to double. That's probably been the one maybe concerning thing. I will say, since that Houston series, the control and command looks much, much better. And you got to remember, too, he missed some time early with injury. And then when he came back off the injured list, I thought the command was a little shaky as well in the few innings when he first came off the injured list. So other than that, though, everything there is fine. Those are the numbers of an outstanding reliever. Let's scroll down a little bit here. Let's see if I have it up here. Do I? Yeah, his BABIP against is 321. League average would be about 300 for a pitcher. So BABIP's a little high, nothing crazy. I wouldn't say he's getting BABIP to death. I'm actually going to look up, see if I can pull up Matt Brash's because I'm curious about that. His expected BABIP the rest of the way is 284. So that alone coming down. And listen, it's not terrible, a 321 BABIP, but it's also something that in one-run games can be a big factor. I will say one of that sinkers factoring into that BABIP being a little higher because we talked about how much that thing's just being pounded into the ground off of Munoz that it may be resulting in a bit of a higher BABIP. I'm curious. I just want to look up Matt Brash's BABIP real quick if I can pull that up. Does it have Matt? Yeah, Matt Brash. Okay. Yeah, Brash has been outstanding as well, obviously, this season, as we can see. BABIP. Yeah, Matt Brash's BABIP against his 405. So Brash is, like we've talked about, Brash has been legitimately been BABIP this season. Let's go back to Munoz, just for anybody watching, has that there for them to see. So I'll just pull it up there. There we go. So all those numbers are the numbers of an outstanding relief pitcher. If we were looking at that as, let's say we weren't Mariners fans. Let's say, I'm sorry, hold on real quick, guys. I don't know if that ad would mess with anything in my video, but I don't need it playing in the background. If we were, let's say, Tigers fans, and we were coming into a series against the Mariners, and we were like, hey, let's do a team preview of the Mariners and let's look at their bullpen. We'd look at these numbers. We'd go to Savant and Fangraphs and go, yeah, Andres Munoz, really good reliever. Maybe not quite as dominant as last season, but still with outstanding stuff, outstanding advanced metrics, great peripherals, good pitcher. There'd be no hesitation for us to say that. I think as fans of the Mariners, we sometimes look at it through the lenses of, oh my gosh, he struggled here and he blew a couple saves. We got to get him out of there. Listen, you want to give Justin Topa a few chances in the ninth? Totally fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. Topa throws strikes. Doesn't have a ton of swing and miss necessarily, but he throws strikes. He is impossible to barrel up pretty much. I am fine with that. Topa's really good. Give him a shot in the ninth. No problem with it. If anything, maybe just to give Munoz a deep breath, reset himself a little bit. But there is no reason that Andres Munoz should not be pitching in extreme high leverage situations for this ball club. He is still one of the best relievers in the bullpen. I would say it's not as clear cut in terms of Munoz being the best this year as it maybe was last year, but that's a good thing. That means you have multiple relievers you can rely on. So that's really the point I wanted to make here. And looking back at yesterday, like I said, I talked about the slider a little bit. Maybe shouldn't have thrown it as much. It's still been his best pitch. I get going to it. The only one really was the Colas double that frustrated me because that's a hitter he should be putting away 0-2. Benintendi kind of stinks this year, but he's still a professional major league hitter that is capable. He got a base knock off of you. That's going to happen. The rest of the inning, he struck out the side. Munoz yesterday had no walks, 3 strikeouts. You do that every appearance, you're going to be pretty good. Against Houston, lights out on Sunday. He was lights out on Friday. All that happened on Friday against Houston was him rolling up 5 double play balls that the Mariners booted 4 of them. Even in Kansas City, he had a ground ball that Rojas booted. He had a fly ball. He had another ground ball that could have been a double play if it weren't for some fast guys on bases. He walked Bobby Witt Jr. He came in that game in the 8th and got 2 crucial outs. Scott needed to take him out there. I love Scott Service. I'm probably one of the biggest Scott Service defenders on YouTube of Mariners fans. But that was a mistake. Scott needed to take him out in that instance, left him in too long. He was gassed. Yesterday, or 2 days ago in Chicago, came in with a tying run on deck against Luis Robert. Someone told me it's Robert. I'm not sure yet. Everyone says Robert on the broadcast, so I don't know. The big guy. He's one of the best players in the American League. Munoz dispensed him on 4 pitches. Crucial at bat. Eloy Jimenez, another good hitter on deck, would have been the tying run coming to the plate right there. Munoz is going to be just fine, guys. I'm not worried about Andres Munoz. I would like to see that slider get a little bite back to it. Seemed to not been there the last week or so, but other than that, no problem with it. Just want to make this video real quick, talk about my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Are you guys with me? Do you guys think they need to make a change somewhere here or do something else? Like I said, I don't really care who gets the 9th inning, but Munoz should absolutely be pitching high leverage situations. The data backs it up. And I get it. And sometimes numbers don't tell all. Guys, I've read Moneyball. I've read Scout's Honor. I know all of it. Well, I don't know all of it. We all don't know everything. But I certainly get both sides of it. So let me know what you guys think on it. Remember to like the video, comment. Don't forget to subscribe, 12 away from 2,100. And think about joining the memberships. The live stream should be pretty fun on Monday, the members only one. So, yeah, go ahead and do that, guys. And I will see you all tomorrow for some Mariners action. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your Thursday. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.